Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the shop. Give you guys some updates of what's going on here in the shop. Steve Lang. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Somebody said hi, Emma. Is Emma here? Emma, if you're out there, give me a note so I can see it on the screen. For those of you who do not know, Emma's Spare Room Machine Shop. She's one of the machinists in our community. She's in Australia. It's a different time zone there right now. Roy Reynolds, hey, welcome back to the shop, Roy. Giving you guys a little update about BNS Small Engines. Hey, BNS, let me give you a blue wrench, my friend. BNS Small Engines, you now have a blue wrench. Thank you. I appreciate it, buddy. So, give you guys a couple of updates of what's been going on. If you haven't been following the channel, as you know, the COVID-19 pandemic's been going on, and my full-time profession is a firefighter paramedic, and I'm the paramedic on my particular rig, which means I'm on a daily basis when I go to work, I'm exposed to the COVID-19. Now we wear proper PPE or what PPE we can get. The department's been doing a pretty good job of trying to stay forward and try to keep us the proper PPE. I made the decision, my wife and I made the decision, we had several discussions about it, but we made the decision to isolate me from the rest of the family. And it's not a quarantine. I have not knowingly exposed to the virus. However, it is imperative to me to keep my family safe at all costs. I know on a daily basis, I'm out there running on multiple patients a day who are showing symptoms of COVID-19, whether it's the flu or allergies or COVID-19. I don't have the ability to diagnose that, but I can follow the parameters. And so I basically have isolated myself from the family. I'm basically living in my shop. And so doing updates, letting everybody know what's been going on. We've been real busy here. Retro Hey, Retro good to see you, Doug. Somebody, I didn't see who it was, offered to send me PPE. At this point, the department has been able to provide PPE for everyone. And send that to your local fire department and check for especially some of the smaller departments. Make sure those guys have got stuff. Right now, I do have PPE, and I appreciate everyone reaching out to do that. So I've been living here in the shop, isolated from the family, and I've just gotten to the point now where I actually said it to myself today. You just got to embrace the suck. I mean, it sucks, but there's a lot of people that are in a lot worse position than I am. So I'm not going to complain about it. It's kind of fun to name things like that. I am healthy at this point. I'm exhibiting no signs or symptoms. I am able to see my children from a distance. I don't let them get more than about 6 or 8 feet from me. I can sit out at the pool deck while they play in the pool. I can have conversations with my wife, that are either, well, she stands on the back porch, I'm in the yard, or over the phone, or at the pool deck, two opposite sides of the pool deck, and we talk. I miss my wife. There's times in my life where I might not have said I do that, but I did so much, but I can honestly tell you I miss my wife. I'm missing just being able to sit and talk to her, and just when things are going bad in the house, because she's taking the brunt of this. Believe it or not, she's doing the homeschool, she's cooking the meals, she is the angel that's not getting any recognition right now. And there's times where things are going badly, the kids are misbehaving or whatever. I can't step in, and that is solidly the most frustrating thing ever. So when I started my first live feed about this, and I explained to everybody what was going on, I the next morning got an email from Mr. Cool, and if you can see behind me, Mr. Cool totally stepped up. Now, for those of you not familiar with Mr. Cool is a mini split heat pump system, and a lot of the YouTubers have been using them already. Keith Rucker's shop has one Mr. Cool unit in it. and if you've never seen Keith's shop in person, I've been in there quite a few times. It's huge shop, huge. And he has one of these Mr. Cool units in there, and it can bring the temperature down in that shop and hold it to a reasonable level where you can work in there all day without not killing yourself. And it's a lot of area. It's probably 3 times more area than the unit is actually designed to handle, and it does a pretty fair job. Justin from Good of the Land also has a Mr. Cool unit. And when Mr. Cool reached out to me, I was like, man, that is a godsend. These guys have stepped right up. And they have sent me one of these mini split systems to put here in the shop. Super excited about it, although I may not have the appearance of the face at the moment of being super excited. I've had a full day here out on the property working. I'm pretty tired, but I am really truly excited about it. The install on these things for you guys that don't know much about AC, this is a DIY install. So you don't have to call an AC guy to gas the thing. If you know how to do, your basic like wiring, like hook your cord into your stove, you can do your own electrical install on here. If not, that's simple to have an electrician do. Oh, I think Adam Booth. Adam, are you out there? I think Adam Booth has one of these in his shop too. I'm not sure, but they're real easy to do yourself. And so we're going to be doing a full video on the install here in the shop. If you look right here over my shoulder, it says DIY. This is one of the DIY units. The way it works, just if you're curious, the line has like a thin membrane, a metal membrane over it. And when you tighten the lines down, they pierce the membrane in the line. So the lines basically are inert. They have either inert gas or they're vacuumed, have a vacuum in them. They pierce as you tighten them, and then all the gas is stored actually in the compressor itself. It's pumped in there and stored as a liquid. So when you pierce it and open the valves, it charges itself. Everything is already pre-serviced for you. So you can truly, if you're a DIY type person, do one of these yourself. I'm going to do a video on the install here. I'm curious to see how it works in the shop. I'm super blessed to have it. A couple of neat features that I didn't even know that this thing had, but I'm really excited about. So that thing has like a remote control, right? Just temperature up, temperature down, fan up, fan down, or whatever. But it has a feature on these things called Follow Me. So you put it in your pocket. If I come over here to the lathe, then I go over there to the grinder, or I go over there to the bandsaw or the drill press or the mill, the air conditioning vanes slowly turn and follow to give the majority of the cooling air over there. So you don't have to have the temperature so cold inside your shop. It will follow where you go to give the majority of the cooling air there and just lower the temperature in that part of the shop. Now let me tell you how else this helps me. In my shop, one of the biggest things I fight is humidity. It's ridiculous. I'm so excited to be able to control humidity in here. I'm going to have to put a man door in the side of the shop over here because whoever built this building never put a man door. They're all just 3 big roll-up doors so that I can keep it on during the day, but I can keep this thing, say, a reasonable temperature and control the humidity inside the shop. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this. Every now and then I swap bugs, but in the evening time, I'm down here in the shop doing different things, and the doors have to be open because, at night it's like 80 or whatever. And so I can let the doors down and keep the temperature up. Somebody just asked a question, do all the Mr. Cool units, are the heat pumps? Yeah, yes, I believe they are. I'm not an expert on Mr. Cool. I've done a little bit of research and reading, but this is a reverse cycle heat pump. I believe by how big of a service it required for this one, this is a 3-ton unit. I believe looking at it that it has an auxiliary heat strip, although I have not read the tech bulletin on it, so I cannot tell you definitely it does. One of the things I've been doing here this last week, we talked about, Joe, Google them, they have both. This is a heat pump for here, for sure. One of the things I've been doing, we were working on the tree fort a little bit with the kids, trying to keep them busy, and it's a little difficult to build a tree fort with your kids and keep them 6 to 8 feet away from you at all times. But I knew this was en route because I got the shipping information. So I started in the back of the shop running all the conduit and pulling all the wire to get all the wire to this side of the shop because the electrical panel is in the shop here, and I got to go all the way down and around the end of the shop. So I wanted to already get all that done. All that's done. I can make that hot just by flipping the breaker. All I have to do is put my disconnect and then my whip over to the unit. They sent everything to me here. This unit, I did sneak that one open, just cut the bottom and got the instructions out. I wanted to see what I need to do for instructions. Looks pretty straightforward. Hang a bracket on the wall, cut a hole through the wall to run the tubing through, mount the head unit, go outside and secure all your lines and everything. I see that the comments kept disappearing. A couple of things. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Brett at Survival Comms. If you guys are ham heads, radio heads, and all that stuff, Mancrafting, yes, it is a mini split. So it's a heat pump mini split too. My buddy Brett over at Survival Comms, he's a ham fest nut guy, radio, probably one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life at understanding electronics and radio frequency. Anyway, he has a YouTube channel, Survival Comms. Go check it out. It's a he gives you a ridiculous amount of information. But he went to Ham Fest. I call it Dork Fest, but that's meant in fun. And bought me some of these old retired Motorola radios. He programmed them for me and my wife. So my wife has one at the house. Now we've had these for a while. This isn't just because of the pandemic. And is also looking to get me little mobiles for our side by sides out here, so that as I'm drive around, I can just leave it on, and my wife can call me because she gets frustrated with me because I'm working and I'll set this thing down and then I'll go get on the tractor and go do something else, and she's calling me. But these things have been a lifesaver because I can call the wife, she can call me instead of doing the phone number thing and then not hearing your phone vibrate or whatever. So go over and check out Brett's channel. He's pretty got a pretty awesome amount of information. It's Survival Comms, and that's COMMS. It took me a while to find it the very first time I ever went to it. So today I worked on the garden. Somebody asked about the garden. I limed it this week. I put out some hydrated lime to try to adjust the pH a little bit, and put on my discs and tried to disc it, and it just wasn't discing. There was a lot of, from turn plowing it, a lot of big chunks of grass, and the discs were kind of bouncing over it, not really cutting that good. Honestly, my discs suck. I've been trying to find a good set of them. For some reason, I just haven't been able to find a set that I like. A good quality, big set of discs. Mine are lightweight and they bounce over. Got to put weight on them, and they kind of, there's more of those bugs. Sorry. So fortunate enough, the neighbor needed a set. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to buy a rototiller, and you can just, if you put it together for me, you can use it." So this evening, actually, you can probably see dirt all over me. I tilled one direction and then tilled the other direction, the garden, got all those big root knots broken up and worked in that lime. Hopefully we're going to get some rain here. I'm going to till it a couple more times over the next week or so and try to kill some more of that grass, and then I'm going to plant. I've already bought the seeds. We're ready to plant. I just got to get the soil right, or I'm wasting my time. Oh, hey, Emma is here. Hey, Emma. Take care, Emma. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate your time. Emma was here. BNS small engine says he's had nothing but rain for a week. We haven't had rain here, and I would guess probably close to 2 months, which is rare for Florida. We are super dry right now. So what's going on with work? Some people have been asking. I got some emails from folks, and this actually broke on the news, so I can say it because it's public information now. But we do have two I don't know that number is true, so let me not say that. I know that we have at least several COVID positive firemen, fire department personnel. I don't know that they're firemen. I don't know what their rank is. I don't even know if they're field people, but I do know that they are COVID positive. Hey, Bobo, my son's on there. And they are in quarantine, of course. It's little disconcerting. It brings the stress level even higher because they're most likely people that I know. As a 24 and a half year veteran of the fire department, I know most all the guys except some of the young new guys that have just come on the other side of the city. But I know these guys. They're my friends, most of them, and I know their families. I knew when they got married. I knew them before they got married. So whoever they are, it brings it very close to home. We continue to run those calls, and we treat every one of them the same. It does. It is real. Somebody made a comment on the last live stream. Does anybody know anybody that's really positive for this? Yeah, I know. I'm getting to know a lot of them now, and the hope is that we can keep that number small. But the reality of it is, this is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint. So we're not going to be done with this in a couple of weeks like we originally thought. This is going to go on and on and on. I said this before in the last live stream. So if you've just come into this live stream, look, if you're a person of reasonable health, and you wind up with this, there's a higher than likely chance that you're going to survive it. You're going to be okay. And that's not 100% true, but the likelihood of an elderly person or a person that's immunocompromised, that's a person with diabetes, person with pre-existing cardiac, cerebral vascular or cardiovascular disease, hypertension, those people are already more predisposed to have side effects that can be life-threatening from this disease. Now, that doesn't just mean them, but that those people are more predisposed. Also, people who are extremely obese. So if you know somebody like that, you got a neighbor, grandma, somebody at your church, a friend, and you're going to town anyway, do the kind thing and offer to shop for them. Keep them home and keep them safe. Give those guys that are working in the labs 24 hours a day time to work on some remedies. I mean, everybody's throwing everything they got at this. There's nobody sleeping in the labs, all over the country, wherever that is, in every university lab and every science lab, all the way around the world. Everybody's throwing everything they got at it. They're just trying to figure out what works the best and then what's safe. I mean, a reality is a big enough blowtorch will kill it, but it kills you too. So we've got to figure out something that's safe for us, for humans, and that's the frustration, is everybody just wants to rush into this and come up with a solution. Well, here's a fix. Well, there probably isn't going to be a short fix. We need to think of this as a long-term problem. Retro, well, what is my guess? What is my guess to look at the end of this? Doug, I'm going to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say we would be lucky to have a normal Christmas shopping season. That's my guess. As to how that transitions back in, people that's smarter than me are trying to figure it out right now. If you look at, people aren't staying home. A lot of people don't think that's the solution. Well, they don't think it's going to stop this from happening. It's not. Staying home isn't going to stop. What staying home allows to happen, and this is the harsh reality of it, we don't have enough in this country, in this world, we don't have enough medical professionals to handle an inrush like what's happening in New York City, Chicago area. You overwhelm the system and you don't get the medical care you need to survive or to get better in a timely manner. What staying home allows the system to do is people to get sick more slowly and recover more quickly. It also buys us time to get some I don't want to say cures, because cure is probably the wrong thing to say. Some remedies, some medications to help out there. My son Bo is very upset because his birthday is coming up next month, and he realizes that it's not going to be a normal birthday. And I assure him that Dad will make the birthday the best I can, and I will be sure we celebrate your birthday. Probably not on your birthday, but we do that anyway. So Mancrafting says they have discovered new antibodies to kill the virus in San Fran. The company just needs to get testing and approval. Absolutely. I mean, everybody's throwing everything they can at it. We're going to come up with something, but how long and whatever. So let's step back and look at this. When you're a child, and if you grew up in the United States, because I can speak in the United States, and you're a child of the 70s or 80s, you, as at a certain point in your life, most children were immunized for like polio, whooping cough. There's a bunch of other rheumatic fever. I think that was part of your normal immunization package, right? Because we knew that that still existed on the planet. We don't want our children to ever get it. Now, you can argue the whole no immunization. I'm not going to get into that. You guys can talk amongst yourselves there on the side. The fact of the matter is, we have to look at the reality that probably the COVID-19 immunization will in the future become a part of that package. It's here. I don't know that it will ever go away. I mean, I'm no expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert. But the reality of it is we need to give the scientists time to figure out that immunization, make sure it's safe for us, whatever that antibody is, like Mancrafting said, get it tested, make sure, that we're not harming ourselves or harming our children or the elderly by giving it to them. And we'll move forward with this, and it's going to be okay. By staying home, we're buying time. That's really what it is. It's buying time. It's slowing the spread rate down. Curiously, there's a couple of videos that are neat to watch. I ran across one the other day on YouTube. If you do a YouTube search under 1918 pandemic survivor interview, it's an interview with a lady. It's about 11 minutes long, and she talks about she was 10 years old during the 1918 pandemic, and so it's a firsthand a witness to what went on. It's really, really interesting to hear, her story, because we're all living this, real time right now, and she kind of reflected back on what they had to deal with and how little they had compared to how much we have as a global community, not just as the United States, but what they had, how little they had to deal with and treat people. They hand dug mass graves and had to bury whole entire families in it because there was no medicine. We have a lot better ways to treat it. We are just overwhelming the system right now, and that's a fact. Yeah. So I saw somebody's comment. I don't know why these things keep disappearing off the screen, but it's nobody wanted to go to Lowe's and Home Depot until the pandemic, and now the place is crowded. Justin from Good of the Land talked about that. Yes, it's being a small engines. You're absolutely right, and it's the same way here. I needed to get a couple of small items. My parents are elderly. My dad's in his 80s, and he's still, trying to climb trees with chainsaws and do crazy stuff that, Dad, wait, I'll come over. We'll I'll help you handle it, kind of thing. And I've got them pretty much advised them. I'm not making them, but I've advised them to be on complete lockdown. Don't go out. Mom's making the grocery list on the computer. She figured out how to do that and getting groceries in. And what she can't get, I said, when I get off work, I'll run over. I'll bring that to you. So I had to go get some stuff for my dad. He needed to make some repairs there to the house. And he's a real handy guy, so he wanted 2x4s. So I'm gonna go into Lowe's and I'm gonna buy like some 2x4s, and I needed a couple of electrical, a breaker and some stuff for this, right? In and out. I got my mask on. I've got the hand sanitizer, whatever. Holy crap! Just like Justin said, there's like a line of people in Lowe's, like the social distancing in the line, you're 6 feet apart. I'm like, what the heck is everybody doing? It was crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe since everybody's home, they're doing home improvement. I don't know. The wife's like, that drippy faucet that I've been getting after you to fix for 3 months, I want it fixed. And I can get out of the house for an hour. So, how are you guys all doing out there? Is everybody staying pretty healthy? It's hard for us. We're trying to get the goods to places on time. Yes, God bless the truck drivers. I know it sucks. Oh, Sean, there you are. Good, dude. Listen, man. So Sean Lee, I sent you some emails, man. You didn't answer them. He said they've made it through the Corona 19. He's feeling way better. Man, I've been for you, brother. I've sent you two emails and you didn't respond to that, and I thought, oh my gosh, how is he doing? So you've been on my mind, man. I hope you're doing well. You never got the emails? I sent two to you. Huh. I responded to the one that you sent me. I just hit reply. So look, maybe that's why. Maybe you thought it popped up as the other one. I just replied back to your email. But I'm glad you're doing better, man. I was really worried about you. So my dad, being a small engine system, my dad's a tow truck driver, and they just got AAA to say they're not taking the rider in the truck with them. It makes sense. 1970 Chevelle 396 said he noticed that the same thing at Lowe's in California. I'm glad, Sean. Sean, Mr. Fix-It Lee. I'm glad you're doing better, bro. I was worried about you because I didn't hear back from you. I asked you once and then you didn't respond. So I asked you twice. I'm like, hey, man, how are you doing? I'm worried about you. Let me know, because I know you told me you were COVID positive and you said this, it sucks. So, hey, Sean, tell us, like, give us a brief rundown of your symptoms and what you had to suffer through. Because I know a lot of people are hearing a lot of different things. I know Stephen Cox. I don't know if he's still on the live stream. He was on a live stream a few minutes ago. I was watching him before I went live, and he was having a pretty good time over there. I think he was several beers into his broadcast. It was getting pretty interesting. Anybody seen Ray Cornelia? Is Ray Cornelia out there tonight? Roy's off. Thanks for letting me know. Minecrafting, you're in Atlanta. Is that correct? I see you say that. So Central Florida here is just it's pretty crazy. Still no toilet paper. Whoever it was that said they were a truck driver, can you get some toilet paper going? John Crawford, how you doing? Sean says starts with a sore throat, the snot, the fever, no energy, still going slow, and the poops are not really that bad. Well, that's good because nobody wants the poops with no toilet paper. Haven't seen Ray's name pop up. So usually Ray will jump on here. Says very few cases in Manitoba. It's a good thing about being rural. It takes a while to get to you, and there's a lot of social distancing automatically. So he said, somebody, I didn't get to read it all, said, thanks for what you're doing. With hand sanitizer, you don't need TP. So somebody asked, how am I holding up? Physically, okay. I'm not gonna lie. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. I thought, okay, I'm gonna be down in the shop. I'll be keeping myself busy, working on projects, and then after about 2 to 3 days of that, I miss my family. I mean, and then work sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, I'm 27 years on the job, 25 with Orlando. Um, I don't want to go to work, but it's my job and it's my duty, so I go. Um, it's not fun. So Sean says the key is it starts with a sore throat. Well, I don't have a sore throat. The trees are all blooming here, so the pollen's like my truck is like green. The pergola out there is just got a green, that yellow green film all over it. So, the snots and the hacks are kind of normal for this time of the year. So you're like, am I sick? Am I sick? Yeah, 1970 Chevelle 396 said they put plexiglass in the stores here to keep the cashiers separated. I've seen that in the last couple of days and all the stuff up here, and they have done the same thing here. Mancrafty said, my daughter had a headache and fever for 10 days, tired and fatigued. Not much else so far. She's kept in a small area of the house. So Mancrafting, is she positive, COVID positive? Headache is bad. I always have a headache this time of year, though. Paperwork is required to travel in Maine now. Somebody said it's crazy in Massachusetts. When is it not crazy in Massachusetts? Essential workers only. So I don't know if I qualify as an essential worker. Maybe I could just call into the chief and say, hey, chief, I'm not coming into work. They said I'm not essential. B&S Small Engine said Walmart's in his area are taping off non-essential areas. No, Mancrafting said no testing available. Doctor says it fits. So that's one of the things. Retro Weld says disposable gloves and washing hands have been my constant routine. I mean, my hands are like, so they look dirty, right? So right before we did this, I washed my dishes behind the shop that way. So that is not, I mean, it is dirt, but stained because my hands are so dry from washing them constantly. They're like, there's no like oil to protect the dirt from like getting in your calluses, And so that is not like filth. That is from literally hand sanitizer, constantly washing hands nonstop all the time, 3, 4, 5 times an hour. And it's kind of eating my hands up a little bit. So we were talking about it fitting. That's kind of the premise that we're going under our medical direction from our medical director is, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. I don't know that everyone is getting tested. I don't know that they're not. I know fever and flu-like symptoms with a sore throat is pretty much it, and that's, said his friend works in Cumberland Farms. They're considered, did the wife work there, or did she pick it up and spread it to him? Or has she spread it to him? I think what you're going to see is hopefully, a lot of people are going to be blessed like Sean has been, you just have to embrace the suck, get through it, and then, move on. Yeah, Cumberland Farms is a gas station. So are you saying that she works there too? Oh, he thinks he already had it. So he was sick and gave it to her and now he's better? I got it. The Mr. Cool unit, for those of you that have kind of chimed in since we started, Mr. Cool stepped up. They gave me a mini split reverse cycle heat pump unit to put here in the shop, since I'm living in the shop. We had talked about it back at the Good of the Land Fest last year, and we're going to, maybe do something together. And when they saw that I was living here in the shop, they sent me an email and said, "Hey man, we're going to get you a unit right now. We're going to get it. We want to get it installed to make it more comfortable for you." It showed up yesterday afternoon about 5 o'clock. I was doing the electrical work. I finished that. I had some other things I had to do here today. So, and I want to film video on it because I want you guys to see how easy these things are to install. And I also want to let you know how well it works here in the shop with all this big iron, like the lathe, the mill, the dual bandsaw, the iron worker. That's a lot of iron to absorb humidity, or not absorb humidity, but absorb temperature change. And then the humidity sticks to it. You can see the lathe right here behind me. I cannot keep it. I can't keep it Adam Booth clean. It's not possible no matter how much I work at it and oil it, and constant. It's just constant work because it sweats, in the morning when it starts to warm up after being cool. Charles, yes, I got your message today. I've been crazy. I will call you tomorrow when I'm at the station. Hopefully I have some downtime. I will call you. You are on my list. I got a message from Adam Booth as well to call you. I just couldn't get to a point where I could call you. I was either on the tractor or I was doing other things, and I just I'll call him in a minute, I'll call him in a minute. But I will. Thank you for that, and I will call you back. And thanks, Charles, for joining in. So there's going to be a video on the Mr. Cool unit. Get it here in the shop. Try to get the humidity on the lathe and the mill down. That'll be great. Yes, Sean, Oregon has the same problem. They have those cool nights, and then they're real humid, and it's real humid here. One of the other features about this Mr. Cool unit I thought was pretty neat. So it has this little thing that looks like a Fire Stick or a Roku, like one of the little plug-in USB things. You can plug it into the thing, and it comes with it. And so it's not any big deal like with the Ring doorbell things and all that, to be able to log into stuff with your phone. But I can log in, like say I'm on my way home from work in the morning and it's already, stupid hot, 94 degrees at 10 a.m. And I know I'm going to be in here working on the lathe or the mill, and I'm going to be kind of in the shop, and I'm not going to want to have the doors open. I can just go to my app and tell the air conditioner to turn on and lower it down to a certain temperature. That's not a big deal. Home units do that already, right, with the correct thermostat. But it's pretty neat for a little mini split system like that to be able to tie right into the Wi-Fi here in the shop, and be able to cool my shop off before I ever come down here. I'm actually excited about that. Roy, yeah, I'd like to have some help putting it in. But honestly, looking at it, it really looks like one man can do it himself. You're on the BNS, yeah, you get the same. BNS says, small engine says he gets the same issue. The shop is block, so I don't get as much of the mold issue, but I do get the moisture creep right between the concrete slab. See the critters, they just are everywhere, mosquitoes. But I get the moisture creep between the block and the slab. If it rains a lot, it like wicks the moisture through. So it'll be nice to pull the moisture out of here. Now, one of the things I've always planned on doing in the shop is this is open truss up there. Here's an open truss shot. You guys can see up there. And I've always wanted to spray foam it, but it's been too expensive. And at the times when it goes on, I just haven't had the extra funds to pay for something that's non-essential. And it was my plan to do that before the Mr. Cool thing. But at this point, if the power bill's another $30 when I'm living down here and I'll have to deal with all these, then I'll deal with it right now. It says I'm in Western New York, putting a good show. The public turned down. That dropped off. I don't understand that. Lon Allen says the mosquitoes will drive you into the house. You get used to it. I mean, they're not unbearable at sundown, that 30 minutes before sundown and right till can't see dark. It is ridiculous. And when I mean ridiculous, you can look at your calf and there'll be 10 mosquitoes sitting on your calf, and I'm not exaggerating. My wife can't stand it. She runs into the house. She's like, oh, I'm going in. This time of night, they're flying around. They're kind of a pain. If you sit still, they'll bother you a little bit, but it'll just be nice to be able to sit in my shop because I have, I don't know if you can see it, there's a TV up there on the wall. It's mainly just to play YouTube videos. It just has a Roku on it. But I can't watch TV down here because it's like, it's constant. You can see them flying around by me. They're not all mosquitoes, by the way. A lot of them are moths and stuff. But and a funny story about that. So I'm the only one in the house that drinks coffee. I got to have a cup of coffee every morning. So I brought my Keurig down here, and it's over there on the workbench, so I can have a cup of coffee every morning. The Keurig has a little like night light thing in it, right? So it like glows on the counter in the house. And I'll shut the shop down at night and go up to sleep in the back part of the house that we've blocked part of that house off. So I don't go in where the other part of the house is. And I'll come out in the morning and open it, and there will literally be 10,000 little moths and mosquitoes dead all in front of the Keurig. So much that I got to take it apart and clean it in the morning because that little blue light attracts every one of these bugs that are locked in here. And they go over there, and I guess they just beat themselves to death trying to get into that little clear water container on the Keurig to the blue light until they kill themselves, and they're all dead. I got to go rinse it all out, put it all back together before I can make coffee in the morning. Skeeters. Well, Sean says, watch out for skeeters. They make you super sick. That is true, but I got to be honest with you. I've lived in Florida my whole life. If they're going to make me sick, I think they'd have got me already. Australia has a lot more bugs flying around. Hey, greetings. I didn't see who it was before it dropped off. Greetings from Sydney. Greetings. I hope the COVID thing is not as bad over there in Sydney as it is here. In certain parts of the U.S., it's pandemic level for sure. New York City, Chicago, I think LA is going to be there, Miami. I think you're going to see those go crazy in the next week or so. Well, guys, I think I've covered everything I wanted to update with you. I've got a fire truck with my name on it in the morning, so I think I'm gonna jet out of here and try to get some sleep. Mick Elsa says 6-month shutdown predicted. Is that a 6-month shutdown in Sydney? Is that what you guys are predicting? Because I'm saying lucky to be clear of this by Christmas. Not even clear of it, back to where we can be at full operating level again. Dilly Dally Co. Machine says, mighty, y'all stay safe. Thank you, my friend. Oh, the whole Australia, the whole country, huh? Wow. Scott Bell says, stay safe. Thank you. Yeah, John Crawford says, unplug it so the light goes off. John, that's what I've been doing. I've been unplugging it. Of course, then you come in the morning, you got to plug it in and wait for it to warm the water. Hey, Sean, you take care, my friend. Well, guys, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to go finish shutting the shop up. I've got a couple of projects out here that I'm probably not going to video, but once we get rain, I got to start mowing, so the mower needs bearings. Blades that I made are still holding up good. I'm pretty happy about that. I've gone through about 2 sets of them. We'll video the Mr. Cool. That'll be in a regular style video. Good night, Steven. Thanks for supporting me always. We'll be in a regular style video. I've got some stuff hopefully coming out over the weekend, maybe next week. Later, everybody. Good night, y'all. Remember, through this whole thing, kindness is what's so important. Be kind to one another. Be kind to your neighbor, because people are still as scared as, or even more scared than you are. Some people won't admit it. They think they're being tough. Good night, son. I love you. Tell your brothers I love them. Tell your mom I love her too. Good night, everybody.